Hi, Ian here, thanks for tuning in. In today's video, I wanted to try and explain why many golfers tend to hit the ground before the golf ball. The correct sequence is, as you may already know, is ball first, ground second. Now, you may have a good setup, you may have a good backswing, but for some reason, you keep hitting the ground first. You're duffing it, fatting it, and it's not getting any power. The shot's probably only going half distance, which is really frustrating, especially if you've hit a nice drive and then you go and duff it 50 yards short of the green. It can be very, very disappointing for all of us. So let's just, for the moment, say that we've got a pretty good setup, we've got a pretty good backswing, and we can't quite understand why I keep duffing it or fatting it, catching the shot heavy all the time. I'm not connecting with the ball like I know that I should be. So let's have a little look at this now. So if I make a good setup, I make a good backswing, I come back down, and I think I'm making a good downswing to the ball. But if I look at my position now, the weight on my front foot is pretty much the same as the weight on my trail foot. So in other words, I've got 50-50 of my overall weight distributed evenly between my two legs. Now the club is going to want to enter the turf or bottom out at the bottom of the swing opposite where my weight is. Well, if my weight was 50-50, then the club is going to enter the ground in the middle of my feet. The ball should be a little bit in the left side of that, so I'm always going to hit the ground first. No matter what I do, I'm always going to hit a heavy shot. And in some instances, you may stand well, make a good backswing, and maybe you've got 60% back here on the trail leg. Now that means you're going to hit the ground even sooner, which means an even fatter shot and even less distance. Likewise, if I exaggerate this, if I swung back and all my weight was here on my trail leg, I'm going to really hit the ground miles before where I really want it to be. But that's because my weight's back here. If, on the other hand, my weight was over here, I've got to move my head to demonstrate this, but my weight now was on my front foot, then my divot's going to be opposite, in this instance opposite my instep, which would mean I would have caught the ball well before the club entered the turf. So the real culprit here is the weight transference from the backswing to your through swing. And whilst you may have a really good looking swing, maybe that weight transference is just that tiny bit lagging behind. So when the club comes down, it may look pretty good, but if the weight's sort of here, then I'm going to enter the turf opposite where my weight is. And if you continue doing that, you'll have to make some other compromise in the swing, because your onboard computer knows you keep doing that, you're going to keep hitting it heavy. So you make another adjustment, or you do another little fudge movement to try to hit the ball, to try and avoid hitting the ground too soon. So just check where your weight is. Bring it back. Stop here. And, yeah, it does look, yeah, it is back here. I'm going to hit back there. Or is the weight shifted? And you're like, well, no, I do actually feel like I'm shifting across. And then that's going to move the divot further forwards, and in turn mean you're going to hit the ball before the ground. So the ball's almost in the way of a good functioning swing. Now, one little drill you can try with this is to swing it back and see if you can actually step through with the trail, bring the trail leg through almost as if you're going to walk after the shot. So I'll do a little demo here, not a big hit, but I'm going to just try to stamp through and actually walk after the shot. So my weight's really being shifted through, and I've hit the ball first and got quite a nice shot out of that. Once again, the key here is not to be staying back on your trail side, your trail leg, your trail foot. You need to get off this and shift the weight through. Similar to the backswing, the weight is shifting toward the target and simultaneously turning out of the way. So we get shift forwards and a turn out of the way at the same time, which causes this curved turning of the hips that we often hear about, getting your belt buckle pointing to your target. So hopefully that's explained to you maybe why you keep hitting it heavy. It's not always, it could be your ball position. You need to check these little bits here at your setup, but once you're happy that your setup position, your ball position is near as damn it bang on, then there's really only one reason that you'll be hitting the ground before the ball. And again, subject to you making some form of reasonable backswing, you know, getting a little bit of shoulder turn. So good setup, get a bit of turn in the shoulders, and then from there just really fire through. And the step through isn't after you've hit it. You're trying to step through almost prior to contacting the ball. So you almost come off. You've almost come off and stepped through before you've contacted the ball. It's quite a hard practice for most people because it's sort of counterintuitive. But if you imagine you're trying to walk after it, it really gets the right side firing as well. And it's an excellent practice. If you search some of the video archives, you'll see Gary Player, I think he was in the British Open. He was feeling his legs were getting a bit lethargic, and he actually walked after the shot and then just handed the club back to his caddy as he carried on walking, because he was trying to get those legs firing. It's so easy for them to trail. They've only got to be a split second behind for the club to hit the ground before the ball. Anyway, I hope that's been helpful, and as ever, please subscribe to the channel. It's really appreciated, and until next time, thanks very much for watching.